Okay, so that's a really tight space back here behind the strut to get that 18mm nut off the end of that bolt that holds the upper control arm on this side. This one is right there. I knocked it loose with a open-ended wrench. So I was able to use a small enough ratchet inside of here. It was kind of hard because there's a bunch of wires and really crazy stuff in there. It restricts your movement a little bit, but you have to use a ratchet. You can't swing a wrench in there very well. That's what I did to get that done. So let's get the front part done. Okay, I got to get the ball joint separated here. And that takes this to come off, so I'm going to put my breaker bar on that and break that loose. Okay, hit that with the ratchet. This one-handed stuff's kind of hard. Okay, got that one out. Now I need to tap on this metal thing to knock this out. Hopefully we can get it out in a couple whacks and not have to beat on it with the hammer and torch it again. Okay. Let me see if I can get those bolts out now. So it looks like this coil spring here kind of gets in the way of that. So I might have to really pound on that to get it to slip past this. It's hitting that. Let's see the other side. Can't really tell. Let me see. Alright, let me work on that for a minute and see how I can get it out. Okay, so apparently where those bolts go through those bushings, they hit the coil spring and I can't pull them out. So kind of inconvenient. I haven't already put in the strut. So what I did is I went up above, undone those 3 bolts, the nuts that are on top, and I just let it drop down. So I'm going to see if that gives me enough room to pass by those coil springs. Okay, so I had to pull it down just a little more, and I had to undo this sway bar link because that was holding it from coming down. And then I was able to pull this out from the top and lean the top out toward the side, and then I was able to get behind there and pull those bolts out from the upper control arm. Okay, as you can see, it came out of there already. Just came right out. And here's the ball joint on the end of that control arm. So it's supposed to swivel like this, obviously, a little bit. The problem was that it's not supposed to go in or out. So that means the joint is completely worn out inside. And that's what was making it so I couldn't get the alignment. Things were moving around way too much. Okay, so what I'm going to do is put back the new one, thread the bolts back in, put it back together. And I also have to replace the tie rods. I think the guy at the shop said the inner tie rod was bad. So I'm just going to go ahead and replace the entire thing here. I have to pull the boot off and get everything off. I'll replace both inner and outer together at the same time and then put it back together, and then I'll have them redo the alignment again. Hopefully everything's good after this. Okay, here's the new part I ordered. Nice boot. ball joint doesn't even move, it's so tight. Brand new, so try to wiggle it back up in there and get the bolts back through it, line back up, pop that strut back in at least, and then I'll tighten everything back up. Well, before I do that, just got to make sure that these are on the correct side, because there is a left and right. So I just lined up the set to make sure that they are in fact lined up the same direction. You can see the shape is very similar. The aftermarket one has different design, different holes there, but the overall shape is the same and the alignment is the same. So this is the driver's side. Alright, here we go. Okay, you can see that tab that's welded to that head of that bolt. That'll keep it from spinning when you're tightening up the nut on the other side. Okay, now I gotta do this side. I'm just gonna shut this off for a second. Okay, that one kind of popped right in because I already had the other one in. I had it all lined up. Okay. So I'm going to go up and start the nuts at least on the top so it doesn't move and so the bolts don't fall out. And then I'll start pushing the strut back in. Alright, so this lets me know that if I ever have to change any of this stuff now next time, it's better just to replace all of it if you're going to replace your struts. Struts are in the way. I didn't know that because I'm not a car mechanic, but I like fixing stuff myself if I can. So just learning as I go. Okay, I got those nuts started up there. And now I just need to reconnect this ball joint here if I can. I just gotta wiggle it around, pound it in.